The past is always tense, but the future is always perfect. Hello everyone, this is your literary host, and today we are going to talk about tenses in English. Tenses describe time, and do you know they are further classified into categories: present, past, and future. These are further classified into 12 categories. The present tense carries 4 categories: simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous tense. The past also carries the same feature: simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. Same is the case with future tense. It carries the same feature. Apparently, all of them are entitled with the same names, but different in functions. So let's discuss in detail. Mr. Present, Mr. Past, and Miss Future are here to teach us tenses. According to them, if you want to learn tenses, you should keep the formula in your mind. The formula is subject, verb, and an object, SVO. And the second most important feature is that you need to keep in your mind is auxiliary. These two are the most essential feature to change tense form. And how they are going to teach us tenses? With the help of tense chart. And through this tense chart, they are going to teach us all the 12 tenses. They are going to begin with simple, coming towards continuous tense, then perfect tense, and lastly they will be talking about perfect continuous tense. So first begin with simple tense. The simple tense represent routine, the daily work that a person is doing on daily basis, and the kind of planning it also represents. So here we have the formula for simple present tense. The simple present tense formula is described as subject, verb, first form with the addition of s or es, and lastly object. The addition of do and does is also there, but this happens only when we are changing the sentences into negative or interrogative sentences. Here is an example. Mr. Present reads newspaper. In this sentence, Mr. Present is the subject. Read is the first form of the verb with the addition of s, and newspaper is the object. So it is a kind of task that Mr. Present does on daily basis. So here Mr. Present reads newspaper. Now let's turn it into a negative sentence. Mr. Present doesn't read newspaper. In this sentence, Mr. Present is the subject, read is the first form of the verb, and newspaper is the object with the addition of does. The s is shifted with do, making it does, and with the addition of not, it has turned out to be a negative sentence. Mr. Present doesn't read newspaper, and we can shift it or make it an interrogative sentence. Does Mr. Present read newspaper? So in this sentence, the does is shifted in the initial form. Let's discuss the past tense. Here we have the formula with a slight change. With the simple past tense, we do place a subject, the second form of the verb, with object. This is the formula for past tense with the addition of the second form of do, that is what? Did. Here is a sentence. Mr. Past read novel. In this sentence, Mr. Past is the subject, read is the second form of the verb, and novel is the object. Coming towards its negative sentence, we do have Mr. Present doesn't read novel. So in this sentence, we have placed did to form a negative sentence, but the read would change into read. The first form will be added with the second form, because in this sentence we do have at the same time two verbs, so the initial verb would be changed Coming towards the interrogative sentence, did Mr. Past read novel? So in this sentence we have placed it in the initial position. So it would sound like Mr. Past read novel. Mr. Past didn't read novel. Did Mr. Past read novel? So here it is. Coming towards the simple future tense, we do have this structure. The subject in the initial position, we will place will or shall. Will be added with the singular pronouns, or if we talk about I and we are going to place shall. Then we have verb first form. In future tense, we always place first form of the verb and then coming towards the object. Here is a sentence. Miss Future will read comics. So, Miss Future will read comics. So, it also represents planning. The initial simple present tense was representing routine, but future tense is representing planning. Miss Future will read comics. Coming towards or making it negative, we do have Miss Future won't read comics. Won't is the negative form of will with the addition of not. Miss Future won't read comics. Then we have its interrogative sentence. Will Miss Future read comics? Is it interesting? Are you understanding it better? Very good. Now coming towards the next feature, that is continuous tense. The continuous tense shows progress, a work that is happening at that moment, such as we do have the formula subject coming in the initial position with the addition of is, am, are according to the number of singular and plural verb. And along with that, we are going to place first form of the verb plus ing. At the end, we will place an object. And it would sound like Mr. Present is reading newspaper. Yes, Mr. Present is the subject, is the auxiliary that we have added. He is a single person, so we are going to place is with verb first form plus ing. This form is also known as the fourth form or the present participle form. But I don't want to complicate it for you people. I just tried to make it simple. So it shows progression. So Mr. Present is reading newspaper. Coming towards the past tense, that is according to the structure, subject with the addition of the second form of is and are, is, am, are, we do have was and were with the addition of verb first form plus ing. Here is the sentence. Mr. Past was reading novel. So in this sentence, was is indicating the singular verb. So it is making it like Mr. Past was reading a novel. So it also shows progression, but also that the work was happening in past, but according to time it is finished, but it was happening in past. Then coming towards the future tense, future continuous tense, we do have the structure subject with the addition of will be. Will be is the feature that makes it continuous. Subject will be verb first form plus ing, and at the end we are going to place an object. Here we have this sentence. Miss Future will be reading comics. In this sentence, Miss Future is the subject, will be is the auxiliary, and reading is the verb with ing. So it also shows progressive action. I think you are learning better. Coming towards the perfect tense. The perfect tense describes a kind of work that is completed. The completion is shown with perfect tense. That's why it is known as perfect. The feature or the rule or the formula is subject with the addition of has and have. With has and have, we are going to place verb third form. At the end, we will be placing object. Here we have the sentence. Mr. Present has read newspaper. Then coming towards past tense, we have the formula subject, had, verb third form and the object. So it would sound like Mr. Past had read novel. It is a kind of work that he had completed in past and finished with it. Coming towards the future perfect tense, still there is an assertion, but a task is supposed to be completed. Here we have this sentence. Sana will have read comics. So there is an assertion, but definitely she has performed this task in future. Coming towards the last and the most interesting one, but rarely used in the form of sentences, because most of the task is done with the continuous tense. The perfect continuous tense also shows the task that is in progress, but also shows completion in the same way. It is indicated with the help of time. So here we have perfect continuous tense, and it represents progression in time, and the formula is subject with the addition of has been or have been. And do remember, with the continuous we usually place first form of the verb and with the addition of ing. Here in this sentence we use the feature of since and for. In the next slide we are going to discuss this portion in detail. So the sentence is Mr. Present have been reading newspaper since 7 o'clock. Then we have its past feature, and the formula is subject had been verb first form plus ing with the use of since and for. Here we have the sentence. Mr. Past had been reading novel since yesterday. Coming towards the future tense, future perfect continuous tense, we have the formula subject will have been verb first form plus ing or the object, then adding since and for at the end. Here we have the sentence. Sana will have been reading comics for over an hour. So here we have all these tenses, and later on we are going to talk about the practice of these tenses. So let's first of all talk about the use of since and for. So let's go. So now let's discuss the use of since and for. Since is used differently in comparison to for. Since is used to specify a point in time. On the contrary, for is used to specify a period in time. The point in times are such as 1893, 7 o'clock, 8:30, morning, evening, Wednesday, Monday, September, October. So these are the points that are used to specify a point. So the examples are: he has been working since 7 o'clock. He had been working since Monday. He had been working since 2019. Very good. Now let's talk about the use of for. The use of for is used to specify a period in time, such as 6 years, 1 day, 1 week, 3 months, few days, 2 centuries, 5 minutes. Here are some examples. He had been working for last week. He has been working for many days. I hope you got this information. Thank you so much.